Hello! Today we are going to be making these fabulous no-sew fabric stars. Now, to be honest with you, this is a little bit trickier and I think it works well on the video because I think you need to keep pausing and going. So this should be a good one for that kind of thing. Now you can make them all out of the same material, like this one. You can make it out of two different materials, like this one. Or the one I'm going to demonstrate will have 4 different colours on. Any way you want, whatever you want. They're stars, so they lend themselves towards Christmassiness, but they don't have to be. You might have a star in your life that you want to make a star for and send it to them. My 2 boys had stars made for them. My son had one specially made out of skull material. So anything that you want to be able to do, you can do those. It does take a little bit of picking up, but you can do it. Now what we need is some material. And your material needs to be 8 centimetres by 30 centimetres, which will give you this in an oblong. Okay, and you need 4 pieces of material, whatever sort of material that you want, but the best one to use is some cotton, and cotton that will hold a fold. I realise I've said that several weeks now, but that is the best one to use for this. You're also going to need some scissors, and I've got my good fabric scissors out today. So you're going to need those kind of scissors, you're going to need 4 pieces of material, and you are going to need your iron. I have not got my iron out because I've already ironed, so that you don't have to watch me ironing, but you will need an iron for this one. The finger pressing doesn't quite work on this one, you do need to be able to do that. But that's all, because we're not sewing anything. I could take these apart now and show you again, because although they are tremendously secure and will not fall apart, they're only folded like that. You can make these out of paper as well. You absolutely can, if you don't have any material, and I will show you how to do that as well. So we need to cut out our 4 pieces of material. So you can make yourself, I did make myself a template because we were doing lots of them. So you can make yourself a template like that, put it down and cut around it until you have 4, and you then need to iron them so that they're nice and flat. So stage 1 is getting your 4 pieces of material that look like that. Okay. Now stage 2 is getting each piece of material and folding it in half lengthways. So I show you by holding it up there like that, lengthways, and ironing it so that you have a really good fold across like that. So all 4 of them will be folded like that, and then they will be ironed, as you can see I've done with that one. The next stage, and it's all in the preparation here, if you are going to do it with your WI, I did do all this preparation for the members beforehand, which was quite painstaking and did take a long time. If you're just doing it on your own, it won't, because you're only doing 4. Now the next stage after that, you have folded it in half, like, I'll show you on this one. So you folded it in half and ironed it like that. You're then going to fold each piece in like that to the middle. You know where your middle line is now because you've done it, so you will open it up, find your middle line, and then iron it again, and it will look like this. So you have that one folded in and that one folded in, so that you can see like that. You will still have your ironed mark down the middle where it's folded, which you're going to use in a moment, but that's what you've got. I'll just show you it from the end so you can see there what it is. And then your last stage of preparation is to fold back along the line that you've already got, and so you have a piece that looks like that, and that needs ironing too. So you need to iron that all the way across as nice and flat as it can. The material equivalent of making really good folds, as we've been doing in the paper recently, although we're not using any coasters today, but we're still making good folds. Okay, but this time good iron folds. So it's now going to look like that. And you need 4 of those, and that's what we've got here. So you absolutely need to pause the video and make sure that you have your 4 and they are all prepared so that each one looks like that and you have 4. So now that you've ironed those, you've got your 4 strips prepared, and my 4 are different colours, so it's easy for you to see, but yours might all be the same colour, it doesn't matter. So now we're going to fold 1 down and leave approximately 4 to 5 centimetres here on this side. So I just show you that again. You're folding that down like that. You don't need to iron this time, you can just squeeze it with your fingers. And if you put one down, you can then make the other 4 all measure the same way. As you know, massive accuracy is not my thing. So I'm not measuring it all perfectly at this stage. I'm just going to have all 4 of them. I've got my hands here. You don't need to keep picking it up. That's just for you to see. So all 4 look like that. And we're going to put them down in front of us. So we've got that here. Now I'm going to keep picking mine up for you to see, but don't pick yours up. Don't do it. Keep yours down on the table. That would be easier. Okay, the only reason I'm picking it up is just so the camera can see when we've got some complicated bits. But if you leave them down like that, that would be a lot easier. So I'm moving those 3 now, and I've got my one that's folded over like that and pushed down. Okay, now I'm putting it towards me. So it's lying down towards me with this short end coming down like that, like pointing down at 1/2 and I'm now going to put another one going along that way as if it was pointing to 1/4 past, 1/4. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to choose the orange one for a nice contrast, and I'm going to open it up and place this one inside and do that. Okay, so I've got one pointing downwards, the other one is going like that, and it's inside. So the purple one is inside the orange one. Okay, we're not doing any kind of sewing or gluing or anything. It will all be held with folds. Okay, so it's sitting there like that. Purple one pointing to 1/2, orange one pointing to 1/4. And now I'm going to do my next one pointing up, like at 12 o'clock. So I will choose my green one now, and I will open it up. And it will go up there like that. Now, this time, I'm putting this one right against the orange one, but I left a little space here. That's what you've got. I'm hoping you can see with my fingers. I will obviously check this later, but that's what we've got now. Don't keep picking yours up, leave it down. Okay, purple one's going to 1/2, orange one's going to 1/4, green one's going up to 12 o'clock. So now we're going to do 1/4. So I'm going to pick up my blue one, and I've got my long side on the back and my short side on the top on all of them. So it's the short sides that I'm looking at on the top down here. So I'm going to open up my blue one, and I'm going to pointing towards 1/4 that way, and that's how I'm looking at it. Okay, it's going to go inside the green one, and it's going to come right down until it meets the orange one. So I'm just going to pick that up so that you can see. So it's come right down until it's met the orange one, like that. Okay, now I'm going to put that down because it's the last one, and this is sort of, after this it's going to be much more secure. So this is a really important bit to get right. You need to get both pieces of the blue one and put them inside the purple one. Okay, so the purple one here will now have a fold that you can get your finger all the way through, like that. So it's a little bit awkward, but once you've done it, it's going to be really nice and secure. So push the whole of the blue one through that. Okay, and I will just pick that up so that you can see what I did. I put the whole of the blue one right the way through here. Okay, so I should have done it with the other finger so you could see right the way through here. So that's both pieces of blue going through that little hole. And now you want to pull all of them tight together to each other. So they're now all going to snuggle up next to each other. And from now on, you can pick it up to your heart's content because it's now all lovely and secure. Okay, really secure. You could chuck it around. It's absolutely fine now. Okay, it's just that bit, tucking that last one, which was the blue one, the one pointing to 1/4, inside. Now, if you did pick yours up and chuck it around like I did, just make sure at the moment that you are looking, when you're looking down at it, it's your short sides that are on the top, and they should also all be the same. Now, because this is a little bit complicated, it's possible at this point that you're looking down and thinking, oh no, I've got one of my long sides on top. That's fine. You can still pull everything out and redo it. You don't have to chuck it away or anything like that. You can just think, oh, right, I'm going to pull that out and do that. So you need to be looking down, and that is what you should be seeing, like that, with your short sides there. Now, having said that, with your short sides, I now want you to flip it over so that you are looking at your long sides. And you still have one pointing at 12, one at 1/4 past, one at 1/2 past, one at 1/4 to. So have that in front of you so that you can imagine that on your clock face and you can see, imagine that, see what you're doing, because now we're going to do some more folding and you need to know which one you're doing. Okay, so we are going to start. I'm just going to look over here to make sure I know which one I'm starting at, because that's the essential bit. Yes, it's 12 o'clock when we're starting. So only the long side, leaving the short side behind, because we're going to come back to that one later. Long side goes downwards, folding down like that. Okay, shall I pick that up so you can see, but don't pick yours up. Get that one, fold it down like that. Okay, then you need to get your next one, which is the one from 1/4 to, and turn that over. Then get your one from 1/2 past and turn that over. Okay, I'm going to do that for you holding it up, but okay, and I say you do it on there. So we're going to go down, we're going to go across, and we're going to go up. Okay, so we've got all of those like that. Okay, now I've lost track of how I've lost track putting that down. That's why I said don't pick it up, because now I've lost track, so I've got to do it again. Right, here I am. So I've got to this stage. So I am going to get my 1/4 past and fold that across. But when we come across this time, we're going to do the tucking under thing again. So I'm going to put my finger there so you can see where it's going. Okay, so that one from 1/4 past is now going to go through there. I need to sit down so I can do it, but I won't pull it all the way through so you can see what I mean. Okay, so this one here has now gone through there, and I'm going to pull it straight. There we are, and that is the second stage. You absolutely would be a good idea to pull everything straight, but to keep pausing this video, keep going back. I know when I learn these things, I sit and think, what did she do again? Roll, let's just get that back. Right, okay, she did that. Right, okay. The whole of this can be taken apart. I took one apart just before this so that I could do it wrong for you for the next stage so you could see. And even though that one's been folded for 3 or 4 years, they still all come apart. So if you look down and you think, that doesn't look right, just pull it out, pause the video, go back again and have a look through each stage. And again, you're really, really secure now. This is there, you've got 2 folds, one side is looking like that, one side is looking like this. I've seen these called woven stars because that's what you're doing, you're weaving in the middle. Okay, and so that's where you've got, so both sides of this craft look good. There's no right and wrong side. They look really nice, put like that, nice and secure. Now, we need now to get our points for our stars. Okay, so each stage of this is a little bit complicated. So I'm just going to show you how the stars should look. And you should end up with a V here. And then a kind of L shape or a right angle here. This is the one I did wrong. What you shouldn't do is end up with that, where they're pointing. That's not the right shape. You also shouldn't end up with that, where they're pointing both in the same direction. So I'm going to show you how to do each point, but you do really need to keep your mind. This is maybe not a craft for having a glass of wine and a chatter. Maybe this is one where you just need to be focusing, because you need to think each time about making sure you have got the V there and the right angle there. But remember, you can keep unfolding it and folding it back again when you're sorted. Okay, so now we only have 1 at each side. We don't have 2 anymore because they're folded away inside, and we only have those. So I'm going to start up here with my blue one, and I'm going to be making a V. So I'm folding it like that, so you can see. I'm going to show you the back of that so you can see how that's folded. It was like that, and I folded it down like that. Okay, and that will be making half of my V that's going to come there. That's where you don't want to be folding it so that it looks like, oh, it's always really difficult to do it wrong. Okay, so that's going to be a V. And how would I do it if I was doing it wrong? You don't want it facing that way like that, because that's pointing up and that's not going to make a V. You want it to be doing it like this. Okay, so we've got that. Now we need to fold this, and I'm just going to have to turn this around because I can't fold this upside down, but I will show you. You now need to fold down like that. Okay, so we had our V like that, and we're now going to fold it like that, so that you've got a mountain. You're now going to fold that one in half, okay, in half like that. So I had it there, and I'm folding it like that. And you can see from this side that that now looks perfect, exactly where my pointy bit should be. But you've got this little bit left over, haven't you? You've got this bit down here, and that needs to be tucked under that strip. That's where it's good here that you can still keep pulling them out. So that is going to get tucked into that one, okay, and pulled down. Now, don't worry about this for a minute, I'm coming back to it, okay? It's just tucked in, nice and neat. You can keep rearranging your point to make it as neat as possible. If you don't get a perfect point here, don't worry, that kind of is just practice and doing it over and over again, but you can do that like that, okay? So, I'm just going to go through that again because it is complicated. Now we're turning it like this, and this is where you have to think to yourself, have I got a V here? Am I doing that right? Yes, I am. I've turned that around and I've got a V. On the other side, we're now going to turn down. Oh, sorry, I can't do it when I'm not, if I can't see, so I just have to pick it up. Okay, like that. We fold it downwards until we got our mountain. We folded our mountain in half, like that, and then we tuck ourselves inside there and pulling it across. Okay, that's it. So you've got one like that. You've ended up with it all neat. Now this time we haven't got a little bit hanging down at the bottom here. We haven't got that, that's okay. Now when you're tucking in, I'm going to show you on this next one when we're turning around. Okay, so we need to be going like that because I'm thinking to myself, oh, I need to make sure I have a V here. I don't want it pointing upwards. And then I'm going to turn down and around. If you're thinking I couldn't see that, that's okay because you can rewind and watch me doing it twice already. Now when I'm doing this, my pointy bit is going to go down and it needs to be tucked inside here this time. Down inside this bit, which is kind of at the back. Some of them end up being at the back where you're tucking them in. If I just hold that like that and show you with my finger where that's going in, like that. Just tucking it down inside. Remember, you do need to keep tightening up every time because you're slackening it off, tightening it up, slackening it off, tightening it up all the time. Okay, so we're going to form that point again, just like I did before. And this time when I tuck it in, instead of it going in here, because of the way it's gone, it's kind of alternate. You'll have two going in a front and two going in a back. That's then going to go around like that and fit inside and be jiggled around. Now what do I do with this bit? You've got two choices. You can either just fold it back in and have it like that. Okay, so I just folded it in. Or if it's going to be hanging around and you don't like it, you get out your scissors and you snip it off because we don't need it anymore. So that little bit, it's better not to have it too short at the beginning with all the complicated folding just in case. It's much easier if at the end you just do that so that you can get it in. So if we carry on going around, making sure that each point, and I say you do actually have to think each time to start with because it's very easy to end up with either that or that at some point. But it is one where you're constantly able to redo it. There's no gluing of any sort. So when you think this isn't working, I've gone wrong, there's something in there that doesn't work, you can then just unfold it and fold it back up again and it's okay. I say it's perfectly fine. One of the ones that my son had on his at the side of his bed had fallen apart a little bit because our cat had been chasing it. And then I just put it back together again. Okay, so we're going to do that, folding it all the way around, tucking it in. Now, I know this is one of those points where you think, oh my goodness, she's doing that so quickly and all that. Remember, I've made hundreds. I practice hundreds, and I have actually done this a long while. It did take a little while for me to get it right the first time, so don't worry if this is something that is taking you a little while and you're finding a bit fiddly.
Yeah.
So you could add a little piece of thread on there so you can hang it up individually, or make a whole garland like that. And they are ever so secure, considering they have no fastenings of any sort. Now, if you don't have material, you can make these out of paper, but you only need the strip to be as thin as it was the first time, you know, only a couple of centimetres and 30 centimetres. So we would need 4, and you do exactly the same thing to get to that stage, but when you get to the last one, you can just cut your points. This time, obviously, if you do go wrong, then you've got nowhere to go, but you can just snip off those last bits. It's a little bit simpler to do it that way, and if you've only got paper, then that's all that you've got, isn't it? So you can end up with it like that as well. That one's not quite as good as it because I was doing it quickly, but you can end up with that if you've only got paper. Just remember, don't do all of the folding. You just end up with a much thinner piece of paper to start with, but otherwise follow the same thing. Now keep pausing that one, going back, trying over and over again, and you will end up with a fabulous craft that you can do again and again and make brilliant presents for people. Okay, see you soon. Bye.